Hey, you guys, thanks for tuning in to the Diva Hustle Show. Today we have our guest, Hook Diggity, which is an entrepreneur, a music artist, and also into film, production film. Thanks, Hook Diggity, for coming on our show.
Most definitely. And you actually spelled it right. It's pronounced Hook Diggy though.
Oh,
No
Hook
Diggy,
Diggity?
just Hook
Okay.
Diggy. Yeah, yeah. But you spelled it right though. Most people spell it wrong and pronounce it right, but you spelled it right, so I was impressed.
Now,
Appreciate it.
question, do they call you Hook for short sometimes? Or
Yep,
is this,
yep, sure do. Yep, sure do. Yep,
I was wondering that. I'm like,
yep,
what do they call them Hook for short? Just,
yep, yep.
So tell me, what got you started in the music and film industry?
So music came first. I started doing music after being influenced by a hometown group. I'm from Flint, Michigan, so a hometown group called the Dayton Family. They had released a tape, and it was so dope how they released it because we were at a club parking lot, and I wasn't actually there. And my cousin had called me and was like, "Hey, you gotta get up to Mr. Lucky's right now. There's something dope going down. You gotta see it." And when I got there, the Dayton Family had this chrome colored. It was like a Chrome, which pretty much mean it changed colors as it drove through light and stuff like that. But it was a
Okay.
caravan. They had the trunk popped open, and they were giving out cassettes. They were giving out their album that they had pressed up. And these were people from my hometown. This was the first time we got a chance to see somebody actually have an album that they were just giving away to people. And we looking at it, and it looked so official. It looked real, and it was dope because they were playing the music, and it was just like awe-inspiring to see, to be able to touch, to be able to feel, and see what that was doing for the community at that time. Not taking away from any of the artists from my city at that time, but it was just the experience that really sparked it to me that music can create a connection and bring people together. And so then I was just like, I think I want to start writing and be an artist as well to be able to create that connection with people.
Okay. And then how did you get into film?
So I actually have a degree in chemical engineering, which is funny. So I graduated college and started working in chemical engineering, but then I started a music studio on the side because I always loved music. I was doing music. I needed somewhere to have outlet for my music and everything. And so the artists I was working with, they were saying some other studios were offering them like music video packages. So like, could we record my album and do a music video? It's like, hey, I don't know anything about video, but let me call around and ask some of my people in film school. Maybe we can come up with something. And so my buddy in film school had kind of gave me a crash course over the weekend on just how to do good music videos, independent style music videos. Okay. And so once I got behind the camera and started doing that, people started asking for more. They were like, okay, well, since you did the music video, can you come shoot this birthday party, maybe shoot this concert, shoot this small business commercial, come shoot my wedding, birthday party. It just started to grow. And it's like, I'm really going to have to dig in and learn it. And what was cool is because I loved it. It was the actual process of it technically was real similar to audio production, except for you just have a visual component now. Because even when you're working with video, you still have an audio component. You can do audio without video, but you can't do video without audio.
Right.
And so it just was just like, man, this is right in my wheelhouse. I'm now being able to put a visual with my creative, and I loved it. And so then it just kind of took off from there. I moved to Atlanta, and I really kind of concentrated on growing the film production business, but then concentrating on my music.
Okay. And how would you say a video today is important from a marketing standpoint?
Well, yeah, that's most of what people are doing on their phones. They're looking at videos. Streaming is taking over, videos are taking over. There's memes. You got memes, but then you got the video memes as well. So when most stuff goes viral, it's usually a video, it's something visual, it's something people can engage in and enjoy. Even TikTok is a couple of seconds. It's just gonna be a loop. People want some kind of visual to stimulate them nowadays. So artists, you got to step your video game up if you got what they're doing.
Well, you see, like now, a lot of artists, it's like 50 Cent said, right, during the interview, like artists, you can remain independent, you know what I mean? Because we have these social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and you could just shoot up and put a video up and, you can get discovered from there. And so how do you feel independent artists become more innovative and remaining afloat for as video and music?
Yeah, so I think that what independent artists have that a lot of times they forget is the big part of being an independent artist is being independent. It means you are independent of industry trends, any kind of lane that people try to stick you in. You can really do what's going to work best for you. So you got artists that are getting into NFTs, you know, artists that are taking their own promotions into, you know, into their own hands, really owning your brand as an artist. Because, you know, a lot of times you chase out the label and that's cool. But, you know, they're going to do most of the work for you, but they're also going to take most of the money. Right. You know, and so being able to be control of your brand, what you want to do, you can decide, like, I don't want to perform, you know, 6 months out of the year. I want to do, this is when I'm going to perform. You know, you can make that choice as an independent artist. Right. So I think that artists are becoming innovative by figuring out what are the tools we need to use to basically, what is our end game? You know, what's our goal as what is our goal as independent artists? And I tell artists a lot of times too, biggest thing before you become an artist is figure out what revenue lane you want to be in. You know, because people a lot of times think that, oh, I'm gonna be an artist. You know, okay, what does that mean? I'm gonna make music. Okay, are you gonna make money with that music? What are you gonna do with the music after you? Of course, I'm gonna make money with the music. I'm gonna make music and then I'll make money. Well, how are you gonna make money off the music? You know, you start breaking it down and figuring out, okay, this is my art. This is what I want to do. How can I get paid from it? Because it has to sustain itself. Or am I just gonna be a weekend warrior? I'm just gonna, you know, have fun on the weekends, do it on the side, work a full-time job. Nothing wrong with that. There's a lane for that if that's what you want to do. So artists are definitely being more innovative by using all of the tools and resources around them. I love it.
Right. And like, do you feel sometimes when as an artist, and then you see other artists, like everybody just want that big cash bag, right? Bag of cash where they're like, I just want to be an artist, but they don't know how to get from A to Z. You know what I'm saying? They just have that. Do you run into that a lot?
Yeah, I run into that a lot, and I had a lot of that, you know, when I first started rapping as well, because I think a lot of times, and you know, I'm not trying to get too philosophical, but I think a lot of times we get caught up in what we think we want, you know, the fame, the fortune, you know, and a lot of times, you know, at the core, what we really want is to be recognized for our talent. We really want to be loved. We really want to be shined, you know, and we could get that on a smaller scale, but we get caught up in the big scale. And then that's why you had these people, you'd be like, well, how did you not read your contract to get to the big deal? You know, you was just so trying to get to it. You was get to it. I'm just going to get to it and I'm going to bypass everything else. And then by the time you get all of this pressure on you, then you start doing the evaluation, and that's not how you want to do it. So, you know, as an artist, you want to figure out, okay, what am I really trying to do? Oh, I just love doing music. I want to give my art to the world. I want to, you know, once you become clear about what it is that you want to do, start from there and then figure out what's the path, you know, you're going to go to. Because, I mean, I get it. You know, you see people with the bag, and in hip hop, you know, we always flashing and showing stuff. And it's, you know, I mean, I wish we didn't, but, you know, I understand the culture that I'm in. And so, you know, you get FOMO. You get and people like, well, I want to shine. You know, they up here shining. I want to shine. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, what they're doing to shine, you know, has nothing to do with you. And, you know, and you don't get into the comparison thing, you know, like, well, they get money, so I want to get money. Be like, why you want to get money? You know, do you have something you trying to get money for? Okay, well, good. Let's focus on that. Stop worrying about what they're doing. Let's figure out how you can do, you know, do what you want to do. But more importantly, before cash trying to get to the bag and they get to the fame, understand what comes with it and get clear on the path to it, because you can't do what the next artist or what the last artist just did to get there. And, you know, we do that a lot. The industry does that. Oh, so-and-so did this to get on. I'm going to do that. You can't do that. That's already been done. You know, you got to create something else. You got to create something else. And so then you get stuck and like, man, well, you know, they doing this now, so this is what we doing. You're like, it's already been done. So it's not going to have the same amount of traction or anything. Pick up something new. Figure out something what you want to do.
I feel like with artists, especially independent artists and any artist, I feel like we have to learn the legal part of being an artist. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, just like, cause I know a guy, he was really talented. He was from Philadelphia and he signed with a record company only to one, they offered him like 20,000. Now for him, at first it was just like, oh, okay, that's good. But they set him down on the shelf for like 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, I think we as artists, and like, you know, even when I interview artists, I'd be like, learn the business. That's number one.
Please learn the business. Please learn the business. Yes. And I think that artists have to realize the first thing, as an artist, you are a brand, which means you are a business. And I get it. We just want to you want to be in the studio, you want to make money. Like, okay, that's cool. You're still a business. You know, you still have to think about it as business. And the more you don't and put that off on somebody else, the more that they're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, as artists, you know, a lot of times, you know, I know you got the hot song, you got this, but let's talk about publishing. Let's talk about copyrights.
Right.
Let's talk about all of the stuff that's important now
Right.
before something happens and you lose it as quickly as you got it.
Right.
That's what you don't want to happen.
True.
You know, I feel bad for artists and I see that happen. I'm like, but you knew and you didn't do what you were supposed to do to, you know, stay on top of stuff. And a lot of times I said, if you're the smartest person in your circle, get a new circle. So
Thank
get people around you that's gonna help, you know, be like, I don't
Yeah.
understand this law stuff, man. So let me find a lawyer I can pay to tell me this stuff. You know, I understand promotions. Let me not figure that out. Let me find somebody that I can get
Right.
to do that. You know, surround yourself with people. We want to do it all. We want to have it all. Like, nah, man, spread. You know, you're doing too much pressure on yourself. And the more that as artists that we do and try to keep for ourselves, I think it's important for us to learn all of the facets, but then work with the professionals that's their wheelhouse. Because
Right.
you don't want to be doing so much that you can't be creative. You want to be creative and in your space and all of that kind of stuff, but you want to be able to count your money and check your checks and balances as well too, and make sure be like, no, that ain't making sense to me, man. You know. So, but if you don't know, they just telling you, you like, you back in the lab. I mean, we in the lab, we making big. Like, okay.
Yeah, you see a lot of that as artists. You know, like you said, don't be afraid to delegate some of the work. Don't think that you have to take it on, because a lot of the business part, it'll start messing with you creatively, right? And then you'll just have a different view on it, and you really wouldn't want to do music anymore.
That's right. That's right. Because you didn't spend so much on social media and you posting so much and you doing this. There's a couple of artists out right now that, you know, I'm not gonna name no names, but I look at them and I'll be like, you don't really love the art of doing music.
No.
You know, but you just gonna keep doing stuff because you like the attention, but you don't really love the art form. You know, you done kind of pigeonhole yourself into this lane and you're getting attention and you're getting paid for it. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna stay here, but I can tell but you don't love making music. You don't, that's not what you do. So I need you to sit down and go and get out the way and make room for somebody else that love to do it.
That's true. That's honestly true. So what are some obstacles you had overcome as an artist, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So let me think of a big obstacle that I had to overcome. The biggest obstacle I had to overcome was realizing that everybody that say they support you isn't supporting.
Right.
You know, and so the first thing I tell one of the first things I tell new artists that I'm working with, I'll be like, evaluate your circle, evaluate the people that surround you. And as hard as it may be, some of those people that surround you not gonna be there with you at the finish line. Because they'll tell you they're supporting you and everything like that, but are they really supporting you? Or are they kind of just hanging around because that's what it feels like they need to do? But when it comes to actually supporting you, they're not sharing your music. They're not, you know, telling, you know, new opportunities. They're not keeping it real with you. They're just like, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Waiting for you to kind of blow up so they can hang on. And so that was the biggest and hardest thing for me, because I remember that, you know, I used to be part of a group and then I went solo, but I had this surrounding of, you know, fam that I thought was actually fam. But when I actually started doing it and wanted to get serious with it and for real, they just kind of fell off, you know, and they weren't being supportive and it was just like, but dog, we've been for years and I thought that, you know, as long as we was bullshitting, sorry, you know, they was around. But as soon as it got serious, like, okay, let's do something serious. Let's figure out, you know, some real plans, some shows, maybe had to quit our job. You know, as soon as it got serious, man, crickets. And I see some of them today, you know, that'll pop up on stuff like, yo, Hook, it's good to see you still doing it. What does that mean? Like, you was there when I don't even respond. I don't even be responding to stuff like that, you know, because it was just like, it was so heartbreaking to know, but it was a lesson for me to realize, telling other artists like, oh, that's the first thing you got to do. Because what you'll be doing is you'll be dragging all of this dead weight with you, and it's no opportunities. You know, the opportunities that you could have had, you missed. Because if my crew is rolling deep and nobody's looking out for the focus, I mean, like, nobody over here be like, hey, it's an opportunity over here, man. It's probably a show over here. Hey, my man over here makes some dope beats. You know, you might want to connect with him. Hey, Hook, I seen this. You might want to do this. Nobody's bringing stuff back to the main goal. And that was tough for me to learn that way. But it got me super focused on only pretty much keeping people in my circle that's gonna help the vision. You know, get clear about what it is that I want to do, and you only keep people around, you know, that do that. I know, and you know, I got a couple of I probably got one homie that's probably been rocking with me for like over 10 years, you know, but I got other homies that I've known for over 20 years and they're nowhere to be seen. They're nowhere around. So that's one thing artists a lot of times might have to face facts that you got somebody, you got a lame fake in your crew that's just sitting around waiting.
Right. And you
know,
do.
that's just sitting around.
I interview artists and I know artists. I know this one guy and he was a friend of a friend. And like his name was like similar to a rapper that's out. Yeah. And so he like, you know, so when he come across my dash, I'm like, dude, your name, you need to change. Like, yes, nobody in your circle told you this. You can't come out. It's just like what you touched on a few minutes ago. You can't go down that lane somebody else did. You have to create something different. And like, you know, and then it's like sometimes, you know, they be like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or you know what I mean? It's like, but then after a while, as they start shopping it around, they be like, oh yeah, you know, you should change your name. So, but you know what I mean? It should stop that. It's too many checkers in your group that should have checked that before it got to me. I'm just the host. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest because I want somebody to be honest with me. So it's too many people in your group. You know, and the first thing, you know, we as Black people, we don't want to hear when somebody pulling our coattail because we know it all, right? So, and then being a woman, so it's like, well, what she know? And then as and then as he goes back and I guess start shopping it around the idea, and they was like, yeah, you know, that is similar to this person's name. And, you know, it's going to look like, and then, you know, y'all from the same area and all of this. But
same area, that's even worse. Like, you gotta change it. You gotta
change it. But it's too many people, if they're your friends, and like you saying, if you gotta surround yourself with better friends or better group, because somebody in your group the light bulb should have went on saying, hey, it's too similarities, too many similarities. And if you're trying to get out there, let's change his name up.
Oh, not the same area. Yeah, I get mad when I kind of want to put an idea out, like a song title, and it's another song title out that's similar. I gotta change it up. You know, because you never want to be, you know, you never want to be overlooked because you're too similar. You know, as artists, you got to do something. You got to do something to stand out a little bit.
Right.
So you know, you may blend in once you get in the door, but you know, you got to do something to stand out at least originally.
You do. And what are some common misconceptions people have about being a music artist?
That you make money off music. That's the first one. That's the first one people think like, oh man, I'm gonna make money off this music and I'm gonna sell this record and I'm gonna do these streams and I'm gonna, you know, what I've come to realize as of late is that my music is really just a gift that I'm giving to the world, and I'm using it to kind of say, hey, if you like this, then you might want to connect with me deeper. Right. So, you know, kind of, join my private Facebook group or get on my mailing list, check and see what else I got going on besides just the music. Then I kind of bring you in to support the experience. So as artists, we are actually selling the experience and the ride, the fan journey, you know, the connection with us. That's why a lot of times, you know, when things happen to our favorite celebrities, you know, we take it personal because we like, oh man, that happened. I feel bad, you know, because we was connected with them. We was riding with them. We had this journey with them. And so that's what important. And I think a lot of times labels, you know, for good and for bad, they know that that's part of the deal. And they have enough money and resources to be able to create these fan experiences. And we got this new artist. We're going to put them up on a pedestal. We're going to put these billboards together. We're going to tell you their rags to riches story. We're going to bring you on in to this experience. Oh, by the way, they got a new album coming out. We need y'all to go get too. So it's like you've been brought into this experience and this whole thing. And then you find out something like, they got, arrested for a DUI or, domestic violence or something like that. You'd be like, oh, not them. What happened? Be like, well, they're human too. So, you have to separate sometimes what people be going through and make the decision whether you want to keep rocking with them or not. So, but that's another story because I try to make my artist life and my personal life, parallel. Okay. So what I'm talking about, I try to actually be about. So most of the time, my fans what I'm doing in real life, you ain't gonna be mad if you find out I'm at the barbecue having a good time, because I might have been talking about that in the music. But you know, other artists might be different. But yeah, that's the common misconception they have. I'm gonna get money making this music. Nope. Nope. You gotta have something better than that. Because it's literally so what I think somebody was saying the other day, it's like 2 billion songs on Spotify right now.
Oh yeah,
like,
2 billion.
And hundreds of thousands are coming out every day. Yeah, so yeah, the music ain't gonna do it.
It's not. And that's the thing. Like you'll find artists, and like I said, they'll have their. I get a lot of music every day, right? People submit their music to the station and things like that, and it's like, well, again, you can't get into music thinking you're going to get rich. Like that only happens to a certain amount of people. You know what I'm saying? So when you're getting into music, you have to get into it for the love of it.
That's right. Yep. And then figuring out what is your revenue stream. Right. Because if you look at the ones that got in it and they were able to make money off of and what gets me with a lot of the newer, younger artists is that they don't like studying the history. And people come to me a lot of times like, man, you know, you just hating on the new hip hop. I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm a fan of the culture. I like it from the beginning. If you listen to my you jump on my iPod, I got everything on there, you know. Right. New school, old school, you know, everything. You know, part of my problem be when I listen to new artists talk about how they got on or what's their feelings about hip hop, and there's no accountability. You know, they act like I just came up with this and I'm popping and that's it. Be like, okay, well, you came up with this that, you know, people are okay with listening to because they heard this. Right. And then that because they heard, you know, like there's been a lineage that's helped pave the way for a lot of the new artists, and they just think like, nah, we came up with this, we did this. And it's like, that's not necessarily true. You know, so, you know, if artists would study the history, you can look and be like, okay, who was the last artist that just made money off the music? Right. I mean, like study that and understand what that means and what you have to do in 2021 if the last time that really happened was like 87 or something like that. Right. You know, so yeah, you know, but people think that that's, you know, I'm gonna make music, I'm gonna blow up, and you ask them like, who did you sing to do that? Right. Tell me. Well, I just know what they said. Be like, nah, you not. No, you got to know. Put the work in and put your knowledge on. But they don't. Nah, I don't. Usually, artists that know it all, like you said, no artists that know it all, that don't have any room for growth. You can't tell them anything. They can't learn anything, and they're all on that level. Oh, no, we ain't got nothing to say. I'll see you at the top. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, because you'll find out, like you saying, history plays a major part in our music, in our culture. And you know, if you don't know history, you're bound to repeat it. And you know, it's not these people, like you have Big Daddy Kane, right? He was in a bad contract, didn't get a lot of money. Like really, Big Daddy Kane should be at the top with a Jay-Z, right? You figure, right? But because of the bad contracts and the deals, like, but again, if you know your history, you'll say, well, let me dig deep and find out what his contract was about. So young artists don't want to take the time to learn about the history of music.
That's right. They'll just be like, oh, well, he didn't get on because he must have been whacked. And it's like, dog, did you you didn't study your history? Like I posted some, I put something on Twitter the other day that said something about I love being turned on to classics that I had never heard before because I get this new feeling of FOMO. Now, I heard a song, I can't remember where I was, but I love Shazam, of course. I think I might have been at the Starbucks or something like that. And it was this jam that came on the little system. I was like, what is that? So I Shazammed it. Well, it's an old Eddie Money song. Well, it's a rock song from like the 70s. I wasn't around when it came out, but it was a dope song. And I'm sitting there listening to it like, man, this is dope. And so I looked it up and it came out in 70 something or whatever like that. But it was like one of his #1 records. Now I've heard of Eddie Money as an artist before, but it was like, this was his smash hit. Wow. And I was just like, well, I didn't know that because I'm not a big Eddie Money fan, but this song is dope. And so then I thought, I did my research and be like, well, what else charted that year? Okay. What else was popping that year? Why did he make this sound like, and I just studied like, oh, okay, all right. So let me look at some other songs that may have came out that year and just see what was hot. And so it's the same thing with Big Daddy Kane when he was dropping hits. Like when you look at the hits that he was dropping and what he was doing, it was kind of like, you know, it was a no-brainer. You can't say that he was a whack artist. I mean, he was, I just read something the other day that somebody was saying that Big Daddy Kane stepped into the sex symbol role maybe too soon for the industry. And I was just kind of like, well, LL Cool J kind of did it. But then I was like, but wait, LL kind of did it maybe after Kane, you know, so maybe Kane paved the way and made it easier for LL to do it. So, you know, you study that kind of stuff.
Big Daddy Kane came out before, because even when I can't remember the song, but he did the video with the robe and everything like that. So he was already paving the way for the sexy part. I think LL just came through the door behind him, like the door
behind him. Yeah. You know, so to be able to, when I read that, I was just kind of like, I would have to study some more of that to see. But if you look at that, and if that's somewhat true, you got to pay homage to Big Daddy Kane for allowing, you know, now the sexiness to be able to come out in the hip hop. So, you know, the sexiness, instead of just being like, oh, these old rappers, I'll be like, you gonna get old too, cuz don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. And my son and my nephews and everybody gonna call you old and washed up. Don't do it. Like, don't do it, dog. Don't get caught up in that, man. Don't get caught up in that. And it's funny because, you know, some hot 20-year-olds is now starting to get into their mid-30s, and now they starting to experience that same thing. Like, remember that shit you was talking about? Like, you getting up there now. So I you know, I love the game and I love the culture. I'd be just wanting to, you know, want more of us to realize what we have and our accountability and responsibility to take care of it. You know,
it is true.
Make sure it's gonna last.
Right, we have to take care of it for sure.
Yeah.
What is some advice you would give someone that want to start in music or video production?
So mine kind of came together. You know, like I was doing the music, started the studio, people wanted to ask for the video. So they kind of blended together. So I can give you two different answers. If you want to get into music, I would say make sure that you absolutely love it. And by absolutely love it, that means if you ain't make no money off of it, would you still do it? Would you still do it? Like if, you know, you decided you was going to be a doctor, a dentist, a firefighter, or if I just gave you $10 million, you know, would you still do music? You know, like if you love it, then yes. Okay, then figure out what lane you want to be in. And I say that there's three lanes. There's three lanes, and I look at the music industry like three lanes, and maybe a fourth if you take an HOV lane. You got your slow lane, your middle lane, your fast lane, and figure out what lane you want to be. You know, and I say the fast lane, you know, that's the industry. That's major contracts, major labels, superstars, megastars, ultra stars. Hard to get in that fast lane because you got to keep up. You know, you might do the middle lane, which means that, you know, the fast lane, they flying. I'm not getting off this exit. I got to drive across the country. I'm gone. I'm gonna be back. You know, it's fast life. You know, that middle lane is kind of like the independent artist. Your exit ain't coming up just yet. You just kind of cruise control. You just chilling. You seeing what's going on over here. You seeing what's going on over there. You know, you just kind of doing your thing. When it's time for you to get off, you get off. You ride in the slow lane. That's my artists that maybe, you know, they may want to do like just weekend kind of stuff. You know, you may not want to do it full time. You might like have something you're doing that you love to do, but you also love the music too. You know, you might do a couple of shows here and there, put out a couple of music because you love to do it and would like to get paid for it. You know, you might ride the slow lane. You're gonna be getting off the exit, you know, every once in a while, real soon. But don't be lane crossing. Don't be lane crossing. Figure out what lanes you're gonna be in and what it means for you and what's gonna work for you, and do that. Because it's one thing I hate. When I used to run the studio, I would talk to artists. And my problem was I believed in everybody because you came to my studio and my job as an engineer and producer was to give you exactly what you wanted before you left. Because I know what that was like as an artist. Like, you got an idea, you was rapping to it before you came over, or you were singing to it before you came over. You have an idea how you want it to sound, and you want that sound when you leave the studio. So you come in and be like, oh, we need the sound. Like, oh, let's do it. Let's make it. And I really want this to get on the radio. Well, do it, man. Go ahead. You know, it was just like whatever people came and said they wanted to do, I believed in them and I pushed them. And, you know, I would believe in a lot of artists a lot more than they believe in themselves. So you want to get to the point where you understand how much passion you got to have, because nobody can have more passion in your music you have. You got to have it. So you got to, you know, hold that torch, you know, and move. So if you want to get into the music, love to do it. You would do it if, you know, you wasn't getting paid for it. Great. Figure out what lane you want to be in. Start to figure out, okay, what do I need to make sure I need to do? Because a lot of times you got to figure out how to get started. If you just getting started, you need funds. So I'm looking for free everything. You want to get free beats, free studio time, you know, it comes at a cost. You're going to lose some quality. You're going to use some connections. So you might have to grind it out, or you may have to sit and be like, all right, I want to do some music. I ain't recording any songs. I need to figure out how to do some songs. Let me talk to some producers, some engineers, some people, some other artists on what it costs to get started. You know? I have a plan that I work with artists. I got like a 60-day, if they need a single and they want to, get their first single, I'm gonna help you produce it, mix and master it, promote it, maybe do a video for it, just to get you started. If you get something started, and then you can understand, like, okay, this is how much I need to be investing in studio time, production. I got an idea now. I'm starting to connect with fans, so I want to put out a single every season. You figure out what you want to do in your lane as an artist and put that plan together and then go after it. For the video side, people who want to get into video production, I say pick what you want to specialize in. You want to specialize in weddings, music videos, film, events, whatever lane you want to get in. And don't say everything, because you don't want to do everything. Trust me, you don't want to do everything. And you might start off doing everything, but you want to become great at what you're passionate about. And so you figure out, what do you want to be passionate about? And so you start there, and then you see what's going on in your area in that. So if you want to do wedding videos, like if you're in somewhere like San Francisco, New York, Miami, hot competition. So you're going to have to look and see what they're doing, and you kind of got to jump right in at that level. So that means you might have to spend a lot of money to get going. You may want to start with something smaller. You might decide, I just want to do some music videos for independent artists. Tons of those. Reach out to some, put your prices together, figure out how you're gonna work with artists. You might do a couple of pro bono, but whatever you do, since video production is usually a business, whatever you do, put a number on your worth from the beginning, because creatives, a lot of times we just think, well, I just want to get going. I do it for the love. Love is not gonna keep it moving. Love is not sustainable, and we don't want to do that. A lot of times we don't want to tell people what we're worth, even if you just worth a little bit. And I say that because that happened to me. Because I remember when I was doing, I was a chemical engineer, and I was doing my chemical, and I made a good salary, but I was coming home after work and running the studio. So I love the music, and I was just like, I don't really know what to charge an hour. So I was just charging $5 an hour for studio time. $5 an hour, just because I love to do it. $5. I gotta find the video. One of my homies made a video. He was like, yo, Hook used to charge $5 an hour for studio time. Ain't that crazy? And so I had cracked up, because I was like, yeah, that is crazy. Because I was making like maybe 40 an hour at the job and coming home charging $5, just because I was just getting started. And I remember somebody at the job was just kind of like, dog, are you out your mind? Like, well, you would just work more hours at work and make more money. And he was like, you need to figure out what you work. And I was like, well, I don't want to change the prices now. People gonna stop coming. And he was like, well, you got to figure out what your time is worth first. And I think the first jump I did, I jumped to 15. People kept coming. I jumped to 25. People kept coming. Then I jumped to 40. I jumped on up to $40 an hour. Same people. They kept coming. And so I began to feel my worth. I felt better about stuff. I was getting better. And so I felt, but had I done that at the beginning, I might have got a little bit further than later on. So I tell artists that all the time too, creatives, figuring out, and figure out what number you feel comfortable for, and putting a real number on it. Like, you just getting started, you ain't got much to offer, you can't charge $1,000 for a show, because you don't have enough material to be able to hold the stage for 45 minutes or something like that. But build up your repertoire. You might start out, be like, I got 2 songs, so I'm worth $200 an hour. Cool. Put something on there. Same thing with the video production. I want to start a video coming. Okay, I bought a camera, a couple lenses, and so I'm gonna start at $25 an hour. Good, great. That's if that feels comfortable for you, you cool with that, great, run with it. Instead of just being, I just do it for the whatever you want to throw me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, put worth on yourself, and you will understand when people take advantage of that quicker. So that's what I would say with people.
This is a side question, but as you started increasing your rates, did you notice it weed out a lot of the people that wasn't serious?
Yes, it definitely does that. And it does a couple of things. It forces you to stay at that level.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of times I tried to be at that level and people seen through it. And so it didn't work out. So you gotta be comfortable with the price that you charge. And then, like you said, it does weed out the people who weren't serious. One of the biggest reasons that made me move to Atlanta, because I felt like I'm from Michigan. So I felt like a lot of my clientele video-wise in Michigan have been getting away with me not necessarily knowing my worth and trying to make me do work that's worth more in other markets. And I just got tired. I was just kind of like, I can't be doing this for that. That's not what the market rate is for that. And so I was just like, hey, I got to get out there. I got to start fresh. I got to go somewhere where it's going to be more opportunities. And as soon as I hit the ground in Atlanta, somebody had called me for a shoot and they were paying like 4 times what I was charging in Michigan. But it was nothing for him to be like, well, that's what we pay down here. And so I was just like, oh my God, I'm slipping. Like I should have been on that. Like I should have been on that. I should have been on it. And so it took time. And so you have to also not necessarily talk the talk, but walk the walk. So if you're going to charge a good price, make sure that people are comfortable and happy paying that price. You know, people love paying me what they pay me because I get results. You know, so you gotta be of integrity. You gotta do the hard work. You can't just be taking people money and giving them a crap product. No, you gotta give them, you know, what they're paying you. You know, what is worth or whatever like that. You know, $1 hamburger from the fast food restaurant is gonna taste different than a $10 hamburger at the sit down restaurant. It should. It should. You know, it should. So
how do you balance being a business owner and a music artist?
Man, so luckily they kind of overlap. And hold on one second. Yep. Somebody was texting me something. You're all right. So they kind of overlap. So I get a chance to everything that I learned that the industry is doing film wise and video production wise, I get to try out firsthand as an artist for all my video work. Most of it is scheduling. So music, the money I make off music pretty much sustains itself and comes back around. But the production company that I run, that's what pays the bills. And so it's really easy to get caught up in like, oh, I got to shoot. I'm just going to go shoot this week. Oh, I'm just going to handle my shoots. I'm going to do it, you know, and the artistry can get lost. And one of the biggest things I did when I moved to Atlanta was I closed down my recording studio for artists. Now I have the studio for me, you know, but I'm not working with artists and they're coming in for studio time. I'm like, it's enough studios in Atlanta. I'll go somewhere else. But if you need some video work, come to me for that. And so that opened up a bunch of free time for me to now concentrate on my artistry. And so you have to schedule the time. You can't just, you know, fly by night with it. You know, you got to put goals down. You got to put dates on the calendar. You got to have a plan. You know, what are you gonna do for the week? I'm gonna write 2 songs. I'm gonna get 2 songs. Write that time in. You know, Tuesday afternoon from 2 to 4, song write. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, because you know that you got a song you're trying to put out by the end of the month. Because what happened is I know a lot of artist friends of mine now who are artists and they love to do it, but they don't have any plan. They're not doing. They get motivated when something else drops. Somebody pop. Oh, my man, I was at the club. He just got signed to Def Jam, man. I gotta get in the studio. He working. Like he was working. So we got to work as much as we see the work out there to keep doing. So that's what I would say. You know, you got to have a plan between the two. And it would be the same thing like for artists right now that's working a day job. You trying to do your artistry on the side. Make time for that artistry. You know, like you have to make time for it until it becomes second nature for you to know, like, oh, ain't no games tonight. I'm in the studio. You know, or I'm writing, or I'm researching. You know, I can't go out Friday. I'm doing this. You know, like it's plenty of time to do everything in life. And I'm one of the people that don't feel like you're giving up anything to do something that you love. You know, I say when you love what you do, it's never called work. So it's like, if, you know, the time is off of the job and you got however much time you got between now and the next time you got to go back, you got to decide what you're going to do at that time. You might decide like, I can wait. I ain't doing nothing. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. But if that was time you could have, you know, used, don't get mad later if somebody else is a couple steps ahead of you because they put those hours in. You got to put them 10,000 hours in anyway. So you might as well start with hour 1.
You do. So what's coming up next? What you working on next, Hook, for coming?
So I just dropped my EP called Mic Check Music. It's a 5-song EP that's basically, during the pandemic, we were doing a weekly show called This Is Hip Hop Thursdays. And I usually try to do my live shows with live instruments. I got a drummer that come out and do my shows with me. So I'm a musician by nature, so I like the live performance of a show. And it's nothing wrong with DJs because I'm hip hop all day. I can throw a DJ in the mix with some live instruments too. You know, it's just the stage presence. It's just everything that's embodied with creating the music live. And so we had our drummer playing on this weekly show, and I had a couple of other artists that were working with me on the show. But it was something about giving people that live sound and connection during the pandemic. And I was just like, well, what happens, you know, if they don't want to watch the video, but they want to hear it? And so I was like, can I create like a collection of songs that have that live feel to them? And so Mic Check Music was basically just 5 songs that I had produced with a live instrumentation. It's live keys, drums, bass, trumpets, You know, like it's got live
Awesome.
instrumentation, and it's just something different than normal hip hop. And so I'm putting it out there to just kind of give people the connection between the fan, the stage, the music, the audience, the performance, the live, and it's still good hip hop music. So we just dropped that, and I'm probably figuring out what's going to be the first video we shoot from the
Okay.
EP. Right now, we're finishing up a music video for my last single that I dropped called Out There. So we're hoping to drop that in November, and
Okay.
then we'll follow up with the first video off the Mic Check Music EP. So that's it, man.
That
Working on this
sounds
video
great.
stuff. Yeah.
Sounds great. So if someone wanted to get in contact with you, how can they go about getting in contact with you? What's your information?
Yeah, I'm I'm Hook Diggy all over the place. But you want to go to hookdiggy.com, HOOKDIGGY.com. And then from there you can either join my private Facebook group, follow me on social media, listen to some music, watch some videos, buy some merch, all of that kind of stuff right there.
All right, thanks. So thanks for coming, Paz.